I started to realize that I got more done. But this time I was doing the right things, not just more things. So learning to be slow taught me how to be present. And that presence is so incredibly powerful.
Hello, and a warm welcome to my podcast show, Your Fertility Counselor. I'm your host, Tanya Fessler, and together we will dive into all things fertility, offering support, expert insights, and practical, evidence-based advice for anyone navigating their fertility journey. So grab a cup of tea and make yourself comfortable. Let's get started.
Have you ever felt like life is moving too fast? Like you're constantly racing from one thing to the next, only to crash at night wondering what you even accomplished that day? Yeah, same here. Today's episode is deeply personal and maybe a little bit radical because I want to talk about something we are not taught to value: slowness. I think I had something like an epiphany today because I was basically writing one of my lists. I love lists. For those who know me very well, they know that I wouldn't spend a single day without the list. And I did my list and I thought like, that's quite a lot on that list. And I'm not sure I will actually be able to do all of this. And then I just started off my day and I decided I'm starting my day off with something that I really enjoy and that I like to do. So I had my cup of tea and I was sitting on the terrace and I was simply marveling at the mountains. So I'm currently in one of the most beautiful places where I can be. I'm in the mountains and I'm looking at these beautiful mountains that are reflecting strength and making me really feel grounded and making me feel calm and like solid and clear in my mind. And I have been reflecting a little bit about like what I've been doing in the past few days. And actually, I didn't have much my phone in my hands because I was just sitting there and just enjoying the mountains. And while I have this beautiful time off with friends and family, I also grabbed one of my books and I stumbled across this book by Stan Nadolny, which is called The Discovery of Slowness. And it inspired me because it must be about 20 years ago that I read this book. And back then, I clearly didn't have the same insight I'm having now. And it just stroked me so much coming back to the epiphany that I had because looking at like what I managed to do in one full day was so amazing. And it didn't feel it was much effort put into it. It didn't feel it was tiring at all. And actually, I really enjoyed each and every single task of it. And in days where I have a long to-do list of many things I want to accomplish, it can feel so much more tiring. And at the end of the day, it can feel like, how much have I done or what have I done at all today? What have I even accomplished? And today on my list, I just had like grocery shopping, cooking. I had a few emails. I had a couple of calls I had to do, but it didn't feel like I had to put a lot of energy into it. And that's when I grabbed this book and I sat on the terrace and I made it a point to just take like 15 minutes, 30 minutes and start reading it again. And it just was so mind-blowing when I went through because it made me think how it is like when you feel like moving so fast and then you feel like constantly racing from one thing to the next, only to crash at night. And then you wonder what you even accomplished that day. Yeah, so today's episode, I was thinking about what I can offer you today, and I thought, like, for all those that are currently feeling like being in that hamster wheel or feeling that you are racing from one thing to the next, and maybe even feeling that you feel exhausted by just looking at your planner over the next weeks and months, only to see like all the lineup of dinners and meet up with friends and maybe meetings, appointments, and all that. And the sheer amount of it makes you already feel exhausted and tired. And maybe this episode today comes at the right point of time. I don't know. It's going to be really deeply personal and maybe a little bit radical as well, because I want to talk about something we are not taught to value: slowness. And this novel that I took into my hand today, The Discovery of Slowness by Stanley Nolly, is based on the life of the 19th century explorer Sir John Franklin, and it completely changed how I think about time, speed, and success. And as an A-type personality, let's just say this wasn't an easy pill to swallow, but it might be the most important one yet. So, what did this book really teach me? The Discovery of Slowness is a fictionalized biography of John Franklin, a British naval officer and Arctic explorer. As a child, Franklin was mocked for being slow. Slow to speak, slow to understand, slow to act. But rather than fighting it, he learned to embrace this slowness. He observed and he absorbed. He reflected. And ultimately, it became his greatest strength. In a world that rewards speed and reactivity, Franklin's story offers something radically different. The idea that going slow lets you go sleep deeper. The idea that going slow lets you go deeper. Nadolny doesn't just portray slowness as a character trait, he treats it like a kind of wisdom. Slowness becomes a survival skill, a path to clarity, even a moral stance. It's powerful, quiet rebellion against urgency. And then it brought me really back into one of my superpowers. And again, for those who know me, they know that one of my superpowers is organizing and absolutely multitasking. And now here is where the modern science comes in. And honestly, it blew my mind. For years, I believed multitasking was the only way to keep up. Check email while on a Zoom call, scroll Instagram while eating, brainstorm while driving. It felt productive. But neuroscience says otherwise. And that's the hard pill to swallow for me. According to studies from Stanford, the University of London, and MIT, multitasking actually lowers efficiency, reduces memory retention, and increases stress. And I can tick all three of them because that really reflects the state that I'm in when I'm trying to multitask. Dr. Earl Miller, a neuroscientist at MIT, says this: the brain is not wired to multitask well. When people think they are multitasking, they are actually just switching from one task to another rapidly, and every switch comes with a cognitive cost. In fact, research shows that multitasking can drop your IQ temporarily by up to 15 points. That's more than being sleep deprived. That's horrible. That sounds really horrible. So, in trying to do more, we are actually doing everything worse. Can you imagine? Have you ever read about this? Well, it's good that we are sharing this, isn't it? So, what did I learn as an A type person? I'll be very honest. I've always been a high achiever. I remember me as a little girl. I was a single child and I would do competitions against myself. The strangest competition I would remember is baking a cake with as little items as possible so that I can wash up the kitchen the fastest way. This was one of my strangest competitions I did against myself because I didn't have siblings, so I had to come up with some competitions, right? So, and I think only high achievers would do strange things like this. So, having structured days or checklists, hustle goals, sounds familiar? Yeah, that's absolutely me too. So, when I first started slowing down, I felt very, very uncomfortable, like I was falling behind. And the first thing that I really felt, and that was a couple of weeks ago when I managed to break my hand. Luckily, not my writing hand, but still, you break your hand, you can, yeah, single-handed and trying to still write emails with one hand and dictation and whatever tools you get on your devices. But you still have to go back and forth on it. And you are just so forced to slow down. And very honestly, I felt like a failure. It made me feel like a failure because I continued to write those long to-do lists only to realize at the end of the day that I barely accomplished anything from those lists. And then I had the courage to even rewrite them for the next day, to prepare everything neatly on my desk, and then start the morning highly motivated, and to realize after 2 hours that my energy was so depleted because I was carrying that cast on my left arm and I just couldn't get things done. And I think only slowly reality started to hit me that less is more, truly. So I started first with my long to-do list, and then I put a little star on the top 3 items. But I still felt really overwhelmed by the whole situation because all what I could see is all the things I didn't do. And so the second or the third strategy that then I finally started to apply was I took Post-it and I just wrote one single thing on it. And then all what I did is focused on that one single thing. And only when I managed to do that and I completed it, I would throw that Post-it away. I would look at my list and I would pick the next one single thing out. And that helped me to get back on track. But that also helped me to actually appreciate the slowness that I had started to adapt because I could clearly feel a change in my brain. And what is really, really interesting, it really felt very uncomfortable at the beginning. Besides, I was utterly feeling I was falling behind. And I always equated being slow with lazy or wasteful or highly inefficient. And all of a sudden, I started to really appreciate the slowness, the clarity that came with it, the mindfulness that came back, and also the appreciation that I only had broken a hand. There was much, much worse on earth than a broken hand. And putting all of this into equation, I started even to feel thankful and grateful for this situation. Because my thoughts became clearer, my creativity returned, And I actually started enjoying the things I used to rush through. Simple things like cooking or walking or having conversations with neighbors or the cashier at the supermarket. I truly started to enjoy all these little things that I rushed through a couple of weeks ago. And what I said before, strangely enough, I started to realize that I got more done. But this time I was doing the right things, not just more things. So learning to be slow taught me how to be present. And that presence is so incredibly powerful. So how can you implement slowness? If you're like me, wired for speed and pressured by deadlines and addicted to notifications, here are a few ways you can start embracing slowness. Number 1, single task like a monk. Pick one task and give it your full attention. No phone, no tabs, just the thing. Number 2, schedule white space. Add actual blank time into your calendar. Nothingness isn't unproductive, it's recovery. It can be simply sitting on the terrace and just enjoying a cup of tea, and then truly enjoy each single sip of your tea, becoming fully aware of how it feels in your mouth. So, how can you implement slowness? If you are like me and wired for speed, pressured by deadlines, and addicted to notifications, here are a few ways you can start embracing slowness. Number 1, single task like a monk. Pick one task and give it your full attention. No phone, no tabs, just the thing. Number 2, schedule white space. Add actual blank time into your calendar. Nothingness isn't unproductive. It's true recovery. Number 3, practice slow listening. Try not interrupting, which I know is very hard for 8-type people. But it's worth it. It's really worth it to listen, not interrupt the people you're talking to, and let silence hang. You'll be amazed at how much deeper conversations can go. And you will appreciate and walk away from these conversations that are truly filling your heart. I really appreciate always such conversations when I can walk away and it fills my heart to the rim because it gives me so much energy. You will be amazed when you try this out. Number 4, do one thing slowly each day. Eat without your phone or take a walk without a podcast. Read without skimming. Neuroscientists have shown scans of a brain when you go for a walk with listening to a podcast and when you go for a walk without listening to anything and just walk, observe nature, and your ears are free. Again, it's mind-blowing that you can see such a radical change in the brain by doing the same exercise without listening something. It's really powerful. It means recovery for your brain, and it's so important to give your brain the break it deserves. Number 5, reflect more and react less. When you feel the urge to rush a decision or reply, pause. Let your mind settle first. I always make it a point, especially if I get one of those emails that, you're already very reactive and writing back with some maybe not so helpful energy. to just save it as a draft first and then reread it the next morning. It can make a huge difference in how you choose the words and what action you choose to take. Slowness doesn't mean doing less. It means doing better with intention and clarity and depth. And it can truly fill your heart. So here is what the discovery of slowness taught me and what I hope it teaches you too, if you want to take it away. Slowness isn't about falling behind. It's about getting back in touch, really, with ourselves, with the moment, with what actually really matters. In a world that's addicted to speed, maybe going slow is the most revolutionary thing we can do. Thanks for being here today. Take a deep breath. Maybe you choose to slow down just for a little while. And if you found this helpful, if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's also racing through life. And if you try even one moment of slowness today, I'd love to hear how it felt. Tag me on Instagram or send me a voice message, please. Thank you for being here today with me, taking it slow and just enjoy the podcast. See you next week with some more inspirations. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fertility Counselor podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you need support or have any questions, reach out to us via email at inquiries@counselingconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Fertility Connects. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about us and the services we offer, head to www.fertilityconnects.com. And if you're looking for support beyond fertility, visit www.counselingconnects.com. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.